Hello, and welcome back to EPG. I'm, of course, Greg, your host. For those who do not follow the financial markets like I do, something very exciting happened on Wednesday evening, and that was that Bitcoin surpassed $100,000 per coin. Now, full disclosure, somebody who has invested in Bitcoin since 2012, I'm very excited for this development. But this is a travel channel, not a finance channel, so I want to talk about how Bitcoin affects countries and travel and all sorts of other fun stuff. So the first thing about it is that Bitcoin offers people a way to kind of take control of their monetary futures. And I'll explain this by saying, if you recall from several other videos, one where I was talking about Argentina and how they transferred their Argentine pesos into dollars, and also another video where Nayib Bukele, in order to halt kind of the rapid inflation that was happening in El Salvador, he began buying Bitcoin and using it as legal tender. Bitcoin serves as a way to kind of counterbalance government mismanagement and central bank mismanagement of money. Bitcoin is a lot like gold, where it is able to be traded internationally without governments kind of stepping in and saying this is how much it costs or this is how much it costs. It's basically the only rule is that it's supply and demand. That is what defines its price. So it is a true commodity. And that way, so developing nations, especially with ones who kind of have loose fiscal policy, they can utilize Bitcoin as a way to safeguard their wealth, especially for the populace. So it's the people's money. That's other people call it. Another thing that is I found interesting is that with smaller countries, they can actually become pretty powerful financial brokers for Bitcoin. So for those who aren't familiar with the concept of mining, basically people can make money if they make their computers solve very complex Sudoku puzzles. So in order for computing to help do that, they need significant power resources. So countries that have available and cheap power can start mining in order to help other countries or other people, individuals, use their Bitcoin. So, for example, Iceland is a very popular place for Bitcoin mining because they have very cheap geothermal energy resources. So yeah, they set up shacks, and then they set up a whole bunch of mining machines, and then they can mine Bitcoin, they can mine Ethereum, they can mine basically any coin that they like. So another thing, and just kind of a side note, I would say that one of the more interesting things about it is how it is starting to take on big banks. So for example, when I was walking down the street in Riga, Latvia, I noticed there was a building that kind of looked like a bank. So I went up closer and I saw that it was an actual brick and mortar crypto exchange, something I'd never seen before. And again, with the developing world, that I think it's kind of bringing everybody back into kind of a direct market of supply and demand. So finally, the other thing about it, and as I've been saying throughout this video, is that it is international. One Bitcoin is worth the same in the United States as it is in Mongolia, as it is in South Africa, as it is in Germany, as it is in Antarctica. So it allows more cross-border exchanging. So, for example, with that exchange house, if I took my Bitcoin from the United States and then took it to Riga, Latvia, all I would need is just my public key and my private key, and then I could take money out of this exchange. But I will say that has also made some interesting new problems, in that it's not really involved on any type of international exchange. No government controls Bitcoin. So some governments, and I'll talk about this on a micro and a macro level, they don't control basically the flow of Bitcoin. So that being said, on the micro level, I was in a supermarket on the eastern shore of Maryland, and there was a rather unsavory person standing in front of a Bitcoin ATM, and he was taking crumpled dollar bills, 20s, 10s, 50s, 100s, and he was putting it into his crypto account. So no doubt he was a recreational pharmacist, But it was kind of interesting to see how kind of the old and the new was coming together. And on a more macro level, with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Russia was taken out of the international banking system. So the SWIFT system basically is how banks internationally talk to each other. So the Russians were taken, completely out of it. And so they were able, in some ways, to get around the Western sanctions by utilizing Bitcoin. And also, Bitcoin is a pretty popular method for extortion. So a couple years ago, there was a computer system that was hacked. It was a hospital computer system, allegedly by a group of either sanctioned or unsanctioned North Korean hackers. And the ransom they were demanding was for Bitcoin. So, yeah, basically, there are no international controls on it. But anyway, kind of in a bigger picture here, it's returning money back to the people. Money is a tool, much like a hammer. You can use it to build a house, or you can use it to hurt someone. But yeah, I think that generally Bitcoin is a good thing. Again, it's giving money back to the people. It is providing a safeguard through rampant government overspending or terrible fiscal policy, or in some cases theft. But yeah, no, I think that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency, it is a really good thing for humanity, especially on the international scene, and it is only increasing in popularity. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Thank you very much for your time, and get out there.